Good morning, movers. Welcome back to Move Daily Fitness. It's Tracy. Are you ready for a functional strength workout? Functional strength exercises are ones that utilize the muscles in the body that help us perform everyday actions. Very functional. So we'll work upper body, lower body, and here's the format today. We'll do 40 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest in between. I'll put 3 exercises per circuit and we'll repeat each circuit through twice. Okay, you're gonna require a variety of dumbbells for the workout, and here's what I suggest a beginner might use, but of course, lift within your abilities. Grab a stable bench or chair, something to sit on as well, and those dumbbells, and that will be good. Okay, we'll start with a warm up. We'll end with a cool down too. Are you ready to move daily? Me too. Let's go. Okay, let's put functional strength training, where is it? Right there on the watch. And we're gonna start with some sit squats. So grab your chair or bench, something stable. If you don't have it, you can do air squats, that's fine. Otherwise, you're here, feet are shoulder width apart. We're sitting and standing for 10. Try not to put your hands on your legs. All right, up and reach those hips back. Right here, just warming things up. Of course, if I'm going too fast for you, go your pace and then just change when I change, okay? 5 more here. Last one, and up. Very good. All right, come right here and into some front and back bends. This hinge pattern is a very functional movement pattern and one that's required, bending down to pick things up. So strengthening that posterior chain, the muscles on the back side of your body, very important. Let's go 2 more here. Very nice. Okay, and some arm circles, big stretch. Switch directions. Good. We're going to go into some push-ups. You can do it on your wall. So stand away from the wall, come down to the wall, body is flat. But if you have that stable bench or chair, push it against a wall so it doesn't slide. And let's go for 5 push-ups right on your bench or chair. All right, so come down and press. That's it. Go on the wall if that is more of a warm-up for you. If this one's too difficult, that's totally fine. 1 more here. Good. And walk it up. Let's heel dig right there. Draw your elbows back and stretch in the chest. High knees, alternate. Butt kick with a punch right there. Very good. Hold on to a wall. We're gonna just go into some abductions. So knee is soft, come out to the side and down. Up and down. All right, here we go. We'll do 10 per side. There's 5. 5 more here. And switch. Up for 5. Sorry, up for 10. 5 more now. And come to the center again, up to tiptoes. We'll get the calves warmed up here a bit. Go up as high as you can. Two more here. And a torso turn to finish. Okay, excellent. So take a look at the screen. That's our first circuit coming up. We're hitting a hinge, a push, a pull, legs, upper body strength in this workout. So let's start here. Grab your water and join me back. Why would they grab their water? Okay, you gotta cut that out, Stratton. Okay, this workout's gonna include that hinge, push, pull, carry, all the functional movement patterns. So grab your dumbbells and let's get started. We're gonna start with the goblet squat, but you could go back to that sit squat, okay? If you have trouble with squatting. I'm gonna hold a 10-pound dumbbell here, right in the center, feet shoulder width apart. All right, drop it low and drive. This can be done without weights as well, but I want you to keep your torso nice and tall. Okay, don't allow the knees to collapse together. So think of there being like a piece of rebar between the knees so they don't turn in. And it's just that straight up and down here. I'm gonna grab that other 10 for the chest press. You can be on your back on the ground or a bench if you have one. Lie flat on your back and those dumbbells are over the chest. We'll press to the ceiling and down. Here we go. So we push and control. If you're on a bench, try to bring those elbows down to about that 90 degrees on the side. And if you're on the floor, make sure you're just not bouncing your elbows off the ground. You're just gonna come down to a hover position and then hit your press. Come to standing or seated. We're going back to our chair or bench with a single leg pistol squat. So you're gonna have one foot on the tiptoe and we're gonna stand and sit with the majority being on that straight leg. So you're here, reach the hips back and control. Now, if you have it within you to lift that leg all the way up, of course you can do the pistol squat like this. Nice control on the down. More challenging, but you could do that. Switching legs, other foot is on the tiptoe, and we're reaching those hips back, controlling the down. You're not plopping down on your bench. Again, we're going to have to sit and stand for the rest of our lives, so great thing to practice with single leg. Back to the top. I'm gonna pop up to 12 pounds this time for the goblet squat. Feet are shoulder width apart. Okay, nice and tall. Let's drop it low. And here, push. Then I'll grab that other 12 for the chest press. You can go anywhere, but 8 pounds, 10 pounds, 12 pounds, whatever feels good for you, or you're on the floor on your back. Okay, stay over the chest, bring those elbows in slightly, and you push. That's it. And moving into your pistol squat. This round, we're gonna do 40 seconds per leg. I want you to stay there a little bit longer. So tiptoe on one side or leg is straight out in front of you. Shoulders back. So really try to put the majority of your weight on the one leg, not the tiptoe leg, on the other one. This one's a supporter. It's just kind of getting your balance, helping if you need it to. Okay, and the control on the eccentric phase, the slowing as you descend, it's gonna really target the quad on that working leg. Stay with me on this leg. Got about 10 more seconds here. Okay, so we switch. Can some of you do it with the leg out here, a single leg? You could try a few if you'd like. You could also make this harder by holding a dumbbell. Okay, shoulders back. And we push, reach the hips back. Control the down. Control, control, control. Just a few more here, then a water break coming next. Okay, good. Hopefully you felt that in your quads. Grab a sip of water. Take a little break, and if you need longer, of course, just pause the video. Otherwise, take a look at the screen. We're gonna move into our Romanian deadlift. We're gonna focus on the posterior chain right now. If you're not really familiar with it, I want you to stand about a foot away from a wall. You're gonna hinge at the hips, and you'll know you're in the right position when your butt taps the wall. Okay, so this can be done, this whole circuit, without a weight to start. And then when you're comfortable, you can step away from the wall and join me. But this might take a bit for you to get used to it. I'm gonna start with 10-pound dumbbells, Romanian deadlift. We're keeping that back flat, bending the knees, and then powering up here. All right, so we hinge, 2, 3, power up. Back is flat, core is engaged, so we're not using our lower back, but this really is about glutes. So glutes are lengthening, contracting. Okay, one arm row. We're gonna go into 40 seconds per arm. I'm gonna go with my 15-pound dumbbell here, but lift whatever you'd like. So nice stance where you're hinged at the hips and pull toward the ceiling. So we pull, good. You're gonna stay on this side, so nice and slow and controlled. Very nice. Switching sides. If you don't have a bench or anything like that, you could prop yourself up on your leg and hit that row right there. Anything will work. But I'd like it if you were hinged right in half like this. All right, other side. Let's take it down to the ground, and I'll take this 15 down here with me for our glute thrusts. Okay, we're going to pause at the top. Feet are close to the bottom, dumbbell on your pelvis. Up and squeeze and down. Up and squeeze and down. So we're working the whole posterior chain here. Glutes, right? A little bit of hamstrings in the RDL and back. And that is going to help improve our posture, keep our shoulders back, and prevent us from having that rounded dowager's hump on the back. No thank you to that. So you gotta keep your backside strong. Really think of squeezing the glutes here at the top. Big contraction. Okay, good. Let's take it from the top again. Make your way up. This is functional movement patterns, down on the ground, up as well. So that's why we're doing it. Let's go back to our RDL. I'm holding 10s. And we hinge, 2, 3, power up. Stick your chest out, stick your butt out. So you're leading with the chest. Very good. Into that one arm row again. All right. I'll stick with the 15, that felt good. Hinge at the hips, nice flat back. And we pull. You're gonna stay on the side for a full 40 seconds, so take your time here. Think of retracting the shoulder blade at the top. Very nice. All right, switching sides. You could put a knee on a bench if you had that. Then your other leg would be back out and to the diagonal. Roll the shoulder back and let's hit this other side. Pull. Okay, very good. I'll take that 15 down to the ground for the glute thrust to finish off this circuit. On the pelvis, feet are close to the bottom and squeeze at the top. Very good. All right, another water break. Take a look at the screen and join me back. All right, we're gonna do a farmer's carry to start with, loading the core, activating all of those erector spinae, core, abdominal muscles. I'm gonna hold a 15-pound dumbbell in one hand and you're walking around your room here. All right, so you don't want the dumbbell to touch. You want to stay nice and tall. And of course, we're holding one dumbbell to throw the whole body off kilter a little bit. Your job is to keep it on kilter. So you're super tall, shoulders are back. We're hitting that farmer carry with the 15 pound. And we're gonna do, again, a full 40 seconds per side. So stay with me here. You might have a really small space. Alternatively, you could march. Here, just holding that dumbbell up. You could hold it here, or even here for more of a challenge, okay? So lots of options here. Good, rest for a second if you need. How's that heavier dumbbell feeling? You want it to feel challenging where it is gonna sort of pull you and you have to keep the core erect and avoid that. Other side, and walk. So my arm is out slightly, right? It's not touching my leg. I'm not relying on my body to help hold it. So you wanna choose a weight that you can do that. And of course, this is mimicking carrying groceries, right? Carrying a suitcase, carrying something that's heavy. So you need to stay strong in your torso. A great thing to practice. Excellent. We are gonna be taking it down to the ground for our next exercise coming up, the dead bug. So stay tuned for that. Let's set that there. On your back, again, working our core. So on your back, knees are at 90 degrees, arms are up here. We're going to reach opposite hand and leg, push the small of your back into the ground. So we reach and switch. If you cannot do both, do one or the other, upper or lower. Okay, but I want you nice and controlled, really reach. And you want to think about the small of the back pushing into the ground here. If it's really arching, eliminate one, upper or lower. Okay, up you get. Again, some good up and down for you because functional movement patterns. I'm gonna take a 3, we're gonna move into a pal-off press. Feet are wide. Here, we'll pivot. Here, let's go. So we press, pivot, front. Now switch sides, press, other side, pivot, and in. This can be done on a cable system, of course, but we don't have that, so we're using a dumbbell. Good core, torso, thoracic spine movement patterns here. Just don't shrug. Keep your shoulders low away from your ears. Okay, good. Let's set that down. I am going to pick up a slightly heavier weight. I'm gonna go with 20 pounds for my farmer's carry, 40 seconds aside. Don't touch your side. You're tall. Here we go. And walk around your room. You can feel it wanting to pull you, of course. You know, that's exactly what happens when we're carrying groceries, and then sometimes we compensate and start leaning. This is going to teach the torso, the core, everything to be strong, to stay upright. I mean, the 20's not nothing, I'll tell you that. You may not even have really heavy weights, in which case you could do one of the alternatives that I showed. All right, rest that hand for a second. Shake it out. Let's switch to sides. Holding that 20, arms out, not touching the body. You're tall and walk. This could also be done with 2 dumbbells, but then you don't get that counter pull. Then you're focusing on something slightly different, but both are good. Okay, let's go down onto the ground, into the dead bug again. Alternating hand and leg reach, or one or the other. And we reach. Back is pushed into the ground. It would be ideal if you could reach the thumb, tap the floor behind you. Do you have that range of motion in your shoulders? You got to ask yourself that. If not, something to work on. Don't let it get worse. And up you get. Let's move into our Palloff press to finish off this circuit. I'm gonna go with a 5-pound this time. No shrugging, wide stance. Starting here, push, pivot, and other side, push, pivot. Okay, excellent. Set that down. We've got one more circuit coming, so grab some water, take a look at the screen. Join me back for that. Doing well, everyone. This last round is going to be an AMRAP, as many rounds as possible. And I've got 5 exercises for you, and you're gonna hit it for 6 reps each. I want you to go your pace. You don't have to keep up with me, all right? The exercises will be on the screen, so just go through them. 6 reps per exercise, and here they are. You're gonna start with a step up for 6 in total. If you don't have that, you can hit some squats if you don't have something to step up on. Then we're gonna go into rotations. You're gonna rotate here for 6. Alternate sides. If you don't have that, you could hold a plank for 6 seconds from the knees or from the toes. Then we're gonna move into 6 sit squats. All right, feet are shoulder width apart. You're up, you're down, like we started with in our warm up. Then we'll grab some dumbbells. I'll hold 5s, and we're gonna do 6 presses, overhead press like that. All right, and then we'll go into 6 reverse pulls. So I think I'll use 10s for this, where we're gonna hinge forward at the hips, palms face the ceiling, and we're gonna pull up to our rib cage there. Okay, so get your weights ready that you think you'll use. I've got 5s and 8s. I've got my bench. I've got my box for the step ups, but you could hit squats. And I've got a timer here set for 4 minutes. So you've got 4 minutes. Everything is 6 reps. Don't change when I change. You're just gonna go at your own pace here. We're not gonna stop unless you need to and grab a drink. I'm gonna keep going for 4 full minutes. All right, starting with a step up. 6 times. That's 1 and 2 there's 6, and into the 6 rotations. There's 6, and sit squats. And presses. I'm holding 5s. Neutral grip. And finishing with those reverse pulls, and I'm holding 10s. Hinge at the hips, back is flat. We pull. All right, back to the top. 6 step-ups. Here we go. Good. Rotations for 6. And sit squats. 6. And presses. Holding 5s. And reverse pulls. I'm holding 10s. All right, going again. We've got a minute left. 6 here. Rotations, and 6. There's 6. Good. Sit squats. 30 seconds left. Make sure you're keeping good form here. Presses, 6. And finishing with those reverse pulls. I have a few seconds. Will I get them in? 3, 2, 1, and done. You move daily in your beginner functional strength workout. Nice job, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. That was great. Heart rate is up. Join for a stretch if you can. Nice work, everyone. Let's stretch it out. Excellent. What was your favorite section? What did you like doing the best there? Actually, I almost wish I had just set the timer for a little bit longer on that last one. I felt like I could have done a whole nother round there, just because, you know, you're in the zone. And it's only 6 reps of each switch side. So sometimes it just goes by faster when you're just moving through them like that. Anyway, that was fun. I do love thinking about functional movement patterns. What am I going to want to be able to do as I age and do well and healthily? Let's go into a cross glute stretch right here. And what muscles are required for me to do these actions? So I know someone said the other day in a beginner workout that I did, she's like, you were up and down off the floor too much. I'm like, except for I did it on purpose. I want you to be able to do that. And I know not everyone can. And so, you know, we do give variations and modifications, switch sides. But this is a very functional movement pattern. In fact, there's so much that you can do even on the floor. We have a bunch of it in our motion mastery program where Coach Andrew takes me through a whole sequence, you know, where you can start to really work on the next level of movement. Let's come into butterfly stretch here, feet together, knees out. So you might start with something like a 90-90 here, but then you're elevating it, you know, because these are patterns that you're going to have to be able to do. Get up from a seated position. How can you do that? Can you do that? If you can't, you know, it's not too late to practice those things and to make sure that you have some good round through the back here. Mobility in the hips, ankles, thoracic spine, shoulders, wrists. And he takes us through a whole sequence where you're working on all of those mobility patterns. Reach back, pull your bottom forward and stretch the chest here. But yeah, strengthening the muscles that we need in the push, pull, hinge, carry is very important as well. So yes, these might be exercises that you do anyway in a strength workout, a full body strength. But when you think about what do I have to do practically in my life, what muscles are going to be good for this, that's helpful, right? Then it's like, okay, I've got to stand up tall when I'm carrying my groceries or my suitcase. I don't want to be leaning over, right? And where does that strength come from? My core. So I got to train that more, make sure that it's strong so it can carry me. Arms back, thumbs down. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the workout. Please let me know in the comments below what was your favorite part, what was your favorite exercise or section. I'd love to hear, and share this video on your feed. Let others have some functional movement patterns as well. I'd love it if you shared, comment below, and be subscribed, and we'll see you all in the next workout.